So in our previous session, I have demonstrated how we file an income tax return on the URA portal. I have also demonstrated how we file a value-added tax return on the URA portal. And when I was explaining those things, again, I mentioned that this is, when you declare a return, it is an act of self-assessment. After the self-assessment is done, you can do an additional assessment from your end, and that is by amending the return. You can amend the return in case you feel there are some mistakes you've made, or you feel there are some declarations that are not satisfactory and you need to change. So now, like I showed you in our previous sessions when I was talking about how we do the income tax return, or how we do the value-added tax return, or whatever kind of return, sometimes the information that you put there is too much. And so it means that if you're making a mistake and you want to amend the return, it means you're supposed to download a fresh template. You fill in everything that you had filled in before, plus the few mistakes that you want to correct, then upload. Now that could be a time-consuming venture. In today's session, I am going to show you how you can download an Excel template of the return you had uploaded earlier that has all those figures filled in, and then when you download it, you can just go ahead and change or make the few adjustments to the errors that you feel you should make. Then you upload the return. That is when you're making an amendment. In other words, I want to show you how you can make a VAT amendment or an income tax amendment much faster in today's session. So let's get to it. So here we are. Now I am going to show you how to amend. Now the normal way of amending, let's say you're going to amend a tax return, you're going to scroll down as usual, go to that link of download online forms. Of course, we are going here after going to the URA site, that is ura.go.ug. So I'll click on download online forms. After clicking on download online forms, we come down here, forms and templates for e-registration, ignore, that comes down here to forms and templates for e-return. So this will work even whether you're amending any tax return, whether it's withholding tax or pay as you earn or gaming tax or income tax, it will do just the same. Let me demonstrate this using the VAT return. So the VAT return is here, monthly VAT return form. So I'm going to go to the second column here and download that template. So I'll click on that. So as I am downloading that template for monthly VAT, so I'm going to go ahead and open the template that I have just downloaded. So as usual, just like any other return, when you open it, you're going to have to click on this enable editing. So I'll click on that to enable an edit so that I'm able to edit it. After enabling editing, then I'm supposed to enable macros by coming here and clicking on enable content. So please do not cut and paste any values in the sheet. I'll click OK. So after doing that, of course, this is a VAT return template. If you see down here we have the return details. Remember, this is an Excel workbook. So within the Excel workbook, there's supposed to be worksheets or Excel sheets. Now there's only just this Excel sheet. The other sheets here will reveal themselves after we have filled in the TIN and the date, the return period from date. So let me fill in here the TIN. So that's the TIN. Then I come down here, return from date. So I'll come here, let me put an arbitrary date, maybe like 1st January. When I press enter, then if I press enter, when I come down here, you're going to realize that the Excel template is loading. All these other worksheets down here are going to reveal themselves. So from what you can see here, the worksheets have revealed themselves. So let me come here and put the date. It's from 1st January 2022 to 31st January 2022. So Remember here what I'm trying to demonstrate to you people is I'm trying to show you how we amend a VAT return. Now, of course, by the time you're amending a VAT return, it means there is a return you did, the original return, and definitely the original return, how it is filed, I did that in a separate video. So I'm going to come down here to section A to F. I'm going to click on that. When I come to section A to F, I'll simply come here to section B, return filing status, whether original or amended. So I'm going to come down here and click amended right there. So when I click on amended, so I fill in the return number and then the return date. Now I want to amend the return for January. Okay, so now where it is, I'm going to have to go, they get the return number for January and then the return date for January. So how do we get these two? So on how we get these two, we are going to go and log in to the account, and I'm going to extract these details, and then I will come and copy them and paste them. So I'm going to go ahead and log in to the company where whose return I want to amend. So right here I have logged in to the company. So I want to access the January return, the details. I want the reference number for January, and I also want the return date for January. So I'm going to come here to e-returns right there. So when I come to e-returns, I'm going to ignore, as I'm hovering my mouse, I'm not clicking by the way, I'm just hovering my mouse over e-returns. I ignore original, I ignore amended, then I come down here to this column where there is others. Then I come down here to view history right there. So I'm going to click on view history, right like that. So when I click on view history, I'm going to select the date that I want. This is the date selector. So I'm going to select, remember I want to amend for January. So I'm going to go January, I'll click 1st of January, and I select the date from 1st January to 31st January 2022. So I select the tax head here. The tax head that I want is monthly VAT return. I'll click monthly VAT return, and I'll come here and click search. So after clicking search, this is what comes through. So this is the return. Now, definitely the return, when you come here, we have what we call the receipt, which is this one here. Then the submitted form up here. Submitted form is this one. The reference number for the return is actually this one you're seeing as CR012208 whatever. This one. The reference number, this is the reference number of the return. And then the date when the return was made is this one, that is on 7th February 2022. So if you really want, you could just go ahead and just copy this. I simply select like that. I simply say Ctrl C. So when I say Ctrl C, I will go back to my return template here, the Excel sheet where I was. Then I come here, I put the return number here, Ctrl V, and I paste it there. Then I come here to fill in the return date. When I go to the return, come to the return date, I go back to my search results here to get the return date. The return applied date is actually here because it's under this heading, return applied date. So the return applied date is actually this one here, the 7th of February 2022. I'll simply copy, press Ctrl C to copy. Then I will get back to my Excel template, and then here I will double click there so that I have that cursor beeping. Then I'll say Ctrl V to paste it there, and there we are. Now that is one way of retrieving that information. The other way is, let's get back to our search results. The other way is I can just simply come and download this receipt here. If I click on this link here and I download the receipt, that is the acknowledgement receipt right there, which is this one here that is downloading. Then I click on it. When I click on it, that is how the acknowledgement receipt looks like. So from the acknowledgement receipt, you can see that the notice date, we can get the date from there, which is the same as the date we had copied. And then the reference number is this one, which is the same as what we have been using before. So whichever way you want, you'll still be able to get those two ideas. So after doing that, now the rest is filling in the normal sheets, and then you will click on the last sheet of this thing and validate, and that's it. So definitely, if you're watching this video on how to amend, by the time you want to know how they amend the VAT return, you must be well versed with how they file an original VAT return in the first place. So the rest of the procedures are the same as what I had demonstrated earlier. I mean, filling in the schedules for input VAT and output VAT and whatever. So the only thing that changes here is this amendment here. These are the details you fill in, that's how you get them. And then you go ahead and go to the very last schedule, that is schedule 4 for administrative expenses, then scroll down and you click validate. When you click validate, and everything is well and good. Now that is one way. Now the thing here is, what if you are doing this and you're trying to amend the return, and let's say there are some errors you made in schedule 1, which so happens to be the schedule for sales. Maybe you have more than 100 items here. Does it mean that you're going to type out everything and maybe copy and paste everything just so that you correct that small error? Well, this is the other way to do it faster. Just before I get to that, in this way, this way of amending, you come and click on amended, and then you click these two. After filling in these two figures, this is how it is even with income tax return, withholding tax return, pay as you earn return, all those other returns. When you are amending, this is how it works out. You come here and select amended. After selecting amended, you go and get the return number and the return date using the way I've showed you. After doing that, then whatever you're supposed to fill in, you're supposed to fill in everything that you had filled in the original return. After filling in everything that you had filled in previously in the original return, then when the mistakes, then that's when you put in the new information you want to append. You correct the errors that you felt were in the original return, then afterwards you validate and then you upload. So when you are done with amending your return, you have finished validating. Let me show you how we upload this return. It's a bit different from how we upload an original return. Remember, this is an amended return, so this is how you do it. I'm going to go and hover my mouse over e-returns. Now, when we were uploading an original return, that is a return we filed for the first time, we come to this column of original. Now, because this one that we are going to upload is an amended one, we are going to come to this column of amended right here. So under the column of amended, then you're going to choose the appropriate tax head that whose return you've amended. In this case, for us, we had amended value added tax. We're using value added tax as a case study. So I'm going to come to monthly value added tax right there. Then I'm going to click on that because it's what we are amending. So after you have amended the return, this is what comes now. So you're going to choose the period for which you have amended the period. So in this case, I'm going to come the return period. Remember, in our illustration, in our case study, we are amending the monthly VAT return for January. So I'm going to click the date selector here, and I'm going to choose the first date for January. So I'll click that back to January 1st. When I click the first date here, the second date here will automatically come, the last date of January. So the reason for the amendment. Now, there are varying reasons. Here you just have to describe the reason in a few words. Maybe there are some sales you had missed or whatever. It now here comes to your English. You just compose a sentence and describe. Let's assume that for us we had amended because there are some sales we had missed out. So I'll simply come here and say reason for the amendment is to include. So it could be that to include more sales to the sales schedule or to the reason, whatever. But you get what I'm saying. Here you briefly describe the reason why you're amending. Then you come here, you enter the text that has been given. Now these things that I am doing, they happen to all returns. Whatever tax head, whether it's income tax or value added tax or whatever. As long as you're trying to amend it, this is how it will be. This is the procedure. Then I'll come here to upload the amended file. So I'll come and here choose file. So I'll choose file. I'll come here. After choosing the file that I validated, then I'll come here and click upload. do you want to submit your return? I'll click OK. So after clicking OK, then the return will be able to go. Now, that is the long way of amending. Now, the other way is, the short one, is downloading something like this, an Excel sheet like this that is pre-filled with the information that you had filled in earlier, then simply correct the mistakes and upload. So let me show you how we do that one. So this is the portal, the web portal of the company that I had logged in. So what is going to happen here is that I'm going to go e-returns. Now when I go to e-returns, as I'm hovering my mouse here, I skip the part where the column for original, I come here to amended. Now when I come here to amended, remember we want to amend value added tax, but we want to download the pre-filled sheet, so that reflects the original information we had filled. So I'm going to come here and go to the tax head that I want to amend. So it could be income tax, it could be income tax for partnership, it could be whatever. So since we are talking about value added tax, let me come here to monthly value added tax. I'm going to click on that. So I have clicked on that. After clicking on that, now under normal circumstances, this is where we go when we want to amend. But instead, so we go up here to download template for amendment. That is monthly value VAT return form. So I'm going to come and click here on the template for amendment. That is after going to the column for amendment, I click value monthly VAT. So I come here to monthly VAT return form here. So I click on that. So when I click on that, it's going to bring, they're telling us here, get field sheet for the return. So the field sheet for the return here, it is the original return that I filed earlier where I want to correct mistakes. So yes, we are dealing with monthly VAT return right there. So return period from, now which date we want to amend, we want a pre-filled sheet for January. So I come and click on 1st January. When I click on the first date, the second date here should automatically populate like you've seen. So it's from 1st January 2022 to 31st January 2022. Then I'll come and click here submit. So when I click on submit, it's going to bring me the details, the return number, the branch, the origin, and whatever. So I'll click on this and then I'll click submit. Now before I hit submit here, sometimes this part can come with two such results. Now when it comes with two results, how do you know the most recent one? By looking at the status here. Because you could be that maybe you filed an original return, then you amended the first time, then there is a second, you want to make a second amendment. So you just look at the status here. In case you do this and more than one such result comes out here, you look at the status, there is one that will be original, then another one will indicate here that amended, then you will be able to know which one you should select because you always amend the most recent return in the system. So since for this case it's just the original return that was filed, no amendments yet, so we are going to make the first amendment. So I'll come and click here select, then I'll hit submit. So now that after hitting submit, now this is the file. They're telling me, they bring me this link that click here to download generated file. So I'm going to come and click on that link. When I click on that link, it's going to download as a zipped folder. Now, in order for you to be able to open this zipped folder, there are some people who find trouble opening these kinds of folders. Make sure you download a software called 7zip, that is 7zip, or WinZip, WinZip, WinZip. You download those, you'll be able to, you install them on your computer, you should be able to open up zipped files. So I have opened the compressed zipped folder. I have opened it. So I'm going to come and click. Now here they are showing two files, yeah. One of them is an income tax template. The other is value added tax. Let me click on the one of VAT since our video is showing VAT. I don't know why it's even showing these two, but it normally shows the one that we downloaded. So anyway, let me go ahead and open this one. So I'm going to go ahead and double click this. So as I double click it, it opens as a Microsoft Excel file. Definitely it is, but this is the pre-filled template the original template that we filed, that we uploaded when we're making the original return. So here it is. We shall come here and click enable content. So they're telling me to please do not cut and paste any values in the sheet. I'll say okay. And now you see my screen dancing around. Now it is the macros are doing their job. The information is loading. So the information has loaded. As you can see, if I keep clicking on this schedules section A to F, I think you're already seeing that we are having something that has already pre-filled information. Let me rush to section the schedule for sales and purchases. For sales schedule 1 there was nothing. Come to schedule 2, we're already seeing that there's information in schedule 2. So in case your original return had a lot of information, this saves a lot of time, because now you have downloaded a pre-filled template that already has the information you need. And now all you need to do now is to go ahead and edit this template. That is, you fill in anything that you want to fill after, or anything that you need to correct. After doing so, you come back here to section A to F. Let me click there. So you come back there. Then of course that is after filling the template, you've corrected whatever mistakes you have. Then you simply come here under the filing status, where there is original, you come and say amended. So you click amended. So when you click amended, you're going to go ahead and fill in the return number like I had showed you, then plus the return date like I had showed you. Then after that, you're going to go to the very last schedule of this template, which is down here. This is schedule 2. I'll click those 3 dots to look for the very last schedule, which is schedule 4. Then I'll scroll down and I'll hit validate. Now click validate. Then the template the return will be validated. Then I will upload it, and the procedures for uploading have already shown them to you earlier. So this is the shortcut. That is how you are able to amend any return. What I've showed you here is the same thing. Let's say for pay as you earn, you have been having, let's say, you keep having the same employees in the organization, and you see the details of the return are the same as in the previous month. You can download a pre-filled template in exactly the same way like I have showed you. Even for pay as you earn, you simply change a few things, edit the template, then validate it, upload. Same is true with income tax. Now when it comes to income tax, it always has a lot of information. But if you've made a mistake in the original return, you want to make some adjustments, you do not have to fill the whole thing afresh. Just download the original return template like the way I've just showed you, and just edit that one, validate, upload. So that's it with the video on how we amend any income tax return, only that for this case, we were using value-added tax as a case study. My name is Arnold Kisembo Rangakuramia, and this is Kisembo Academy. Take care.